Hey, everyone, how you doing? We got about a good 1 minute. I wanted to come on a little bit before, as I normally do, so we can get this party started. I am truly excited about tonight, and so I'm going to give it a little bit before we kick this thing off, and then we will go from there. Hallelujah. Alrighty, here we go. So, welcome everyone to Focus on Greatness podcast. I am your host, Hiram Roche, and today we are going to be dealing with this next conversation that we have been having. Our last time together, we talked about part one of this conversation, dealing with learn the lesson. And so last time it was a great experience, a great time that we spent one with another. And so today I want to be able to take it per se a little bit deeper than we did last conversation. Today is going to be dealing with part two of this conversation that we have been having. And so we're going to dive right into it. We were in Mark chapter 8, verses 14 through 21. Mark chapter 8, verses 14 through 21. And for those that come on, please make sure that you share this podcast so we can make sure that God is reaching as many people as possible. So again, we came out of last time, Mark chapter 8, verses 14 through 21, and having this conversation dealing with, again, learn the lessons. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to read it and then we'll dive in. I'll hit about what we talked about a little bit on last time, and then we'll dive into what God is talking about on tonight. And so in Mark chapter 8, verses 14 through 21, thank you and welcome for those that are just joining on. Again, make sure that you are sharing. Please share this with all of your friends and family members. So in Mark chapter 8, verses 14 through 21, it says this: "And now the disciples had forgotten to take bread. Neither had they in the ship with them more than one loaf. And he charged them, saying, Take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herod. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have no bread. And when Jesus knew it, he said unto them, Why reason ye, because you have no bread? Perceive ye not, neither understand? Have ye your hearts yet hardened? Having eyes, see ye not, having ears, hear ye not, and do you not remember? When I break the 5 loaves among the 5,000, how many baskets full of fragments take ye up? They said unto him, 12. And when the 7 among the 4,000, how many baskets full of fragments take ye up? And they said, 7. Now we're going to get to this today. This is going to be good. And he said unto them, How is it that ye do not understand? Again, this the statement that he ends off with. Hey family, how y'all doing? I see you coming on. He says, he ends it off with this conversation or this question. How is it that you do not understand? How is it that you do not understand the lesson that I am trying to teach you? So let's dive in. Last time, we used 3 points that we dealt with. Point number 1 that we dealt with was the trauma of what was left. If you missed last time or last podcast, please make sure you go back and watch the first podcast, because it'll help you to understand what we're dealing with today. So the first thing that we dealt with was the trauma of what was left behind. The second thing that we dealt with is the focus on the negative. I know that this is a very powerful statement because, again, in last time, I gave some conversation or some testimonial piece of what that is. Sometimes we focus on the negatives and it makes us lose or miss what the lesson is. And then the last thing that we dealt with was learn the lesson. Now, today, what I want to be able to deal with in this part 2 of this conversation, if for those that are going to use this as a conversational piece, I want you to write down this: the teacher. I know that sounds simple. I know that doesn't sound profound, but I promise you it is. One of the things that I have realized in when we're dealing with learning the lesson, sometimes the reason why we are not able to learn the lesson is because we are not recognizing who is the teacher. Now, again, I'm going to say this. One of the reasons why I believe we do not learn the lessons is because we are not recognizing who is the teacher. So put that down for those that are on right now, Facebook Live. Make sure you comment and say the teacher. That's what we're going to be dealing with tonight, is the teacher. So my objective tonight is to make sure that I teach about the teacher. So in this, what we're going to deal with tonight is 3 points. The first point is, as a teacher, this is what a teacher does. I want to make sure that we emphasize and understand this. As a teacher, this is what the teacher does. He gives you specifics. We're going to break this thing down. He gives you specifics. He gives you what is achievable. And then the last thing is he gives you results. I'm going to give you again. He gives you specifics. He gives you things that are achievable, and he gives you the results. Now, we're going to deal with this and dive right in. Now, again, in this passage, what we have to recognize is the teacher. We have to recognize who is the one that is teaching in this storyline. Who is the one that is teaching in this conversation that we're having? Now, to be able to recognize this, we have to look at, again, this. We're going to break this verse in Mark chapter 8, verses 15. Mark chapter 8, verses 15. We want to recognize who is the teacher. It says, and he, being Jesus, charged them, saying, take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herod. Now, this is the teacher speaking to his students, and he's informing them, he is telling them something specific that he wants them to focus on. Now, again, we're dealing with the specifics of what the teacher wants, and we're going to be able to deal with being able to achieve this and the results that this gives. Now, here we go. This is what it is. Now, for us to be able to understand this specifically, I just want to give you a few scriptures, probably one or two, to be able to recognize and help us clarify that who we are actually talking about, which is Jesus, is the teacher. In Mark chapter 6, verses 34, it says this, and Jesus, when he came out, saw much people and was moved with compassion toward them, because they were as sheep having not a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. Now, again, we're simplifying this, but I want us to understand this, that he is the teacher. We can go through our different passage of scripture showing that he is the teacher. Now, where we have now, I just want to make sure I throw this out here. I'm not going to get caught here, but I do want to throw this out here. Jesus was the teacher dealing in this context of what we know as Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Is even the introduction of dealing with this context in Acts, but we recognize that he is the teacher. But then in John chapter 14, this is who we have now, who Jesus introduced us to. In Mark chapter 14, verses 26, it says this, but the Comforter, who is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. So we have Jesus, who is a teacher. We have the Holy Ghost, who is a teacher. And now we're speaking about this understanding. If we do not understand who is the teacher, then we do not understand where to focus on the lesson. Now we can dive in, because we have a clear understanding in this passage in our lives who is the teacher. Now, I know there is various different conversations that we can be able to have about a teacher, which we will, because we have to, again, specifically understand who is the teacher. Some say that life is a teacher, which I believe it is. Some say that in this mindset of understanding that we can be able to understand, yes, life is a teacher. Even experience can teach you things. Now, I I would also emphasize that other people's experience can be a teacher. Other people's experience can be a teacher. You can see the experience that they had either positively or negatively, and it can teach you a lesson about what life is, what you should or should not do in life. It gives you the emphasis to help you understand who is the teacher. Your parents can be a teacher. Your friends could be a teacher. But understand this. Now we have to get the specifics. Understand this, that every teacher is not a teacher for your life. Now, what do I mean by that? A math teacher cannot teach me English, nor can a science teacher teach me math. Why? Why is that understood? Because we need to understand that the person that is teaching me what I need to learn in these lessons has to be qualified to teach me in this area. I'm going to say that again. If for me, I want you to really understand this. For this person, whatever your lifestyle is, whatever your area is, for you to be able to teach me the lesson, that person has to be qualified to teach me in this area of my life. Now, I'm saying that, now let's dive in. Again, as a teacher, when a teacher is teaching, I remember in school that I went into, when I was in my different, in high school, you go to different areas. You got one period, first period, second period. You got all these different periods. And in these periods, you have your different classes. I remember sitting in my math class, and as I was sitting in my math class, the teacher in that was very specific on what they were trying to teach me, or the lesson that they wanted me to take away in this form of teaching, in this specific setting in class. There was something specific that they needed me to understand, so that when I walk away from their classroom, I had the knowledge that I needed to be able to pass whatever test that was coming toward me. If they did not teach me correctly, then they understood I would not be prepared for whatever test would come my way. I'm saying this for a reason. But what I recognized in those classrooms is because I was not focused on the teacher, and I was not focused on what the teacher was specifically trying to get me to understand, I missed not only the lesson, but I failed the test. So let's see what the specific that Jesus is trying to teach his disciples, as well as help us to be able to understand so that we can pass these tests. Now, in Mark 8:15, again, we're going to look at this and break this down. It says, "And he charged them, saying, Take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herod." Now, what he's saying in this context, and what he's saying in this context, so that we can hear, break this down. Take heed. Now, what is he saying by take heed? See with your eyes. Take care. I want you to have discernment. I want you to watch for it. It's something specific that I need you to be looking for or look out for. Now, what in your life has God been telling you to take heed about? What in your specific life has God been telling you, I want you to watch out for that? I want you to watch out for this person. I want you to watch out for that type of mouth. I want you to watch out for that type of spending. I want you to watch out for these type of people that you are hiring. I need you to watch out for these friends that you say you want to have. It's something that I'm telling you specifically to watch out for. Now watch this. This is specific he's dealing with. The next statement that he makes is, he says, take heed, beware, meaning I need you to not only be able to see that these things are happening. No. I don't only want you to be able to see what's going on. I don't want you to only pay attention so you can be able to, but beware of these things. Be discerned to see, to have your bodily eye open. Now, I'm going to break this thing down. Man, this is too good for me. I'm going to break this thing down. And then he deals with of the leaven. What is the leaven? According to this context, what is the leaven? It is the mental or moral corruption viewed in its tendency to affect others. And I'm going to break it down, I promise you. It's a mental or moral corruption viewed in its tendencies to infect others. Here we go. Here we go. Matthew 16:12 deals with the same conversation. And in this, he gives you the same statement of leaven, but he gives you something extra. He says, then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. So he was dealing with their teaching. So beware, be open, take heed, be focused, be discerned about who is teaching you. I'm telling you, this is good. This is the specifics of what I need you to understand. I want you to beware. I need you to take heed of who is teaching you. Because what he's saying is the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and Herod's clan, they're teaching you something, but they're not teaching you what I'm teaching you. What they're teaching you is to go away from what I'm trying to get you into. What they're teaching you is trying to continue to keep you in a cycle of bondage. What they're teaching you is not the instructions of God. My God, this is good. Now, as I remember, and I'm getting excited, let me calm down. I remember when I had the privilege and opportunity to be the youth leader at the Christian House of Prayer. Shout out to my church and my pastor, Pastor Valerie Holcomb. Shout out to the house. And I remember in this time when I had the opportunity to be the youth leader, there was an event that happened on Fort Hood on Post, which is the major post in my area. And when they had this event, it was basically like American Idol type thing that was going on. And so me and my wife had been invited to go there from our neighbor or a friend of ours at that time. And when we went, the event itself was good, we had a good time. But at the end of the event, I saw some of the teens or youth that went to our church that was a part of our youth group. And when I saw them, I went to go up to them so I can say hi and, just show them some love. But it was a lady over there communicating with them. And so when I walked up, she was already in conversation. So I didn't want to be rude and interrupt anything. And so when I walked up, the thing that I found out was in her conversation, she's sharing with these teenagers. It was some girls, it was some boys there. And in this conversation, she's sharing with them, hey, you're young. I know we know about Christ and but, you're young, go ahead and enjoy yourself, enjoy life. It's no problem to, go ahead and sow your royal oats and, and have all this fun, and you can do all that because you're still young. You still have time. Now, as she's sharing this statement with them, the teens now start looking at me. And as they're looking at me like, is this right? Is this wrong? What is this? And it's immediately I start doing, nah. And so when she walks away, immediately they're saying, hey, Minister Roche, is this right? And my statement was, no, do what you have been taught to do. My God, this is good. Do what you have been taught to do. Don't pay attention to that. Because why? What was happening? Just like us. Now we can get on here and be like, oh yeah, them teenagers, they do that. No. All of us is in the same boat. We all have areas in our lives where we allow people to teach us things that don't have the qualifications, don't have the power, don't have the knowledge or the strength or the authority to teach us in this area of our lives. And we follow their lead. We follow what they're saying only because what they're saying sounds right, but it's not according to the principle of what God is saying unto us to do. So what do we do? What Jesus is saying unto them, I need you to beware, because what I'm telling you in now is not for today. It's for your future. And what they're going to try to do, what's going to try to happen is people are going to try to come and speak into your life. People are going to try to teach you things that are not according to my word. So beware. They're going to try to teach you things that I have not told you to do. They're going to try to show you a way that I I did not teach you to go. They're going to try to show you something that I did not tell you that is there. They're going to try to preach a word, teach a word that I'm telling you right now. Do not follow. Beware of those Pharisees. Beware of those Sadducees. Beware of those, because why? They will puff you up, and I promise you, just like leaven, it spreads. How does it spread? Because when you believe a teaching, either right or wrong, when you believe a teaching, either accurate or off, if you believe a teaching, you will teach what you have been taught. This is a clear understanding that we all have to understand, that what Jesus is teaching his disciples is, I've been trying to teach you some stuff, but I promise you they're going to twist it. I promise you they're going to take my word. They're going to take my doctrine. They're going to take what I poured out to give unto you, and they're going to twist it. This is his specifics. These are the specifics. So let's deal with you. What is your specific? What did God tell you to do in your relationship? What did God tell you to do with your money? What did God tell you to do in your business? What did God tell you to do in your church? Where is it in this book? Where is it in his doctrine, in his teachings? Where is it that he has showed you what to be able to do? When did he tell you? When did he speak it to you? When did he tell you how to be able to get your business off the ground? When did he tell you the principles that you needed to live by for your relationship? When did he tell you to be able to do these things for your money? When did he tell you these things? When did he teach you these lessons? And who or what has he told you to beware of those teachings? This is the specifics. But I understand that Jesus is not just teaching his disciples these things just so he can say, watch out. But what he's teaching his disciples is vitally important to us, because he's teaching you this, because what he's saying to us all, what he's saying to each and every one of us that is listening, that is watching, what he's saying to us is very important. He's saying to us, understand that not only is this what I'm trying to teach you, but what I need you to understand is this is achievable. My God. It's very difficult in a season and in an era where everyone has knowledge, where everyone has some form of education, everyone has some form of capability to be able to look up information. It's very difficult sometimes to be able to stand on what you've been taught, what you know is right, when everyone else around you is teaching the opposite. I'm going to say it again. It's very difficult. Sometimes it can feel very difficult sometimes when we are taught one way, but everyone around us is teaching opposite. Sometimes it can be very difficult for you to be taught to save your money when everyone around you is splurging. Hear me. It can be very difficult sometimes for you to be able to enlarge your business and do all these specific things in your business when you have been taught to do these things. But then someone else comes around you and tries to teach you something opposite that looks like it's working. I'm trying to help somebody. It can be very difficult to be able to stand on what God is teaching you and telling you to do in your ministry when other people that you know are being taught differently look like they're succeeding. It can be very difficult. But what I need you to understand is, as a teacher, he is not going to teach you anything that you cannot achieve. He's not going to teach you anything that you cannot achieve. He did not say it wasn't going to be difficult. He did not say it wasn't going to be hard. He did not say that it's not going to be a struggle. He didn't say that. He told them, take heed and beware, because they're going to try to take you off focus. I know it doesn't look right. I know sometimes it may be a struggle and it may be hard. But what I recognized is that teachers understand the weight of what I'm teaching. And they understand that the reason why I am teaching you this, the reason why you're in the classroom, is because you can achieve what I'm teaching. The only thing you have to do is be focused. Be focused on what? Be focused on the specifics of what I've taught you. See, sometimes I think that we have forgot the basics of this walk. Sometimes I think we have forgotten the basics of what we do. He did not give us this Bible. He did not give us his word just so we can say we have it, just so we can say that we know a little bit of it. No, he wants you to continue to look at the specifics. He wants you to continue to understand that you can achieve this. That's why he tells you that it is not by your strength, it is not by your power, but it's by his spirit, the teacher, the helper, the one that comes alongside you to help you make it through. He gives everything you need. That is a qualified teacher. See, in school right now, in here, where I live, they're about to go to school. And one of the things that they did is they gave out a list. And on this list, they gave everything that the students need, from pencils or papers and notebooks and crayons and whatever that might be for your grade level. They gave you everything that you need for you to be able to be prepared for school. Now, they did not just tell you to get all of this stuff just so you can get all of this stuff. No, they told you they need you to get all of these things because they want you to be well equipped for what I'm about to teach you, and so that you can achieve it. The only thing that you're looking for is the specifics. And when we focus on the specifics, we start to see results. Now, again, why do we go through these lessons? Why have we been repeating the same thing? Just think about it. Just ask yourself these questions. Why? Why have we been going in cycle after cycle, failing the test? It's because of this. We have not been focused on the teacher and what the teacher has been teaching us. I remember in school, again, this whole context, man, has took me back in my mind in school, in high school specifically. And I remember I wasn't a great student, I would say, in school. I was very unfocused. Now, I'm telling you, all of this is real. I was very unfocused when it came to being in school. But I remember sitting in class, and I remember my teacher would be in front of me, and I'm not paying attention to the specifics of what she gave or what he gave. I'm not paying attention when she says, take this homework home and study this stuff, do these assignments, because it helps you to understand the lesson that I just taught you. Now, I remember all of these things happening, and then it came test time. When the test time came, it was something that happened in these moments of sitting down in a quiet space, in a quiet moment where no one was able to speak or to talk. No one was able to make any form of noise at this moment. It was a quiet moment where it's now the lessons that I was supposed to learn and the questions. I'm looking on this paper, trying to figure out if I remember any of these things, if I can be able to answer any of these questions, if I can be able to go through this thing and all of these pieces. I'm trying to figure this thing out. And what I start doing, and I want to show you something, but what I start doing is I got afraid in the testing. One of the reasons why I was afraid was because I had took tests before and I failed them. Hear me, I want you to hear it. I had took tests before and I failed the test. So the first thing that came to my mind was, what if I failed this one too? Hear me, this is the first thing that I was afraid of. The disciples, when they came to Jesus, they was afraid because of what they left behind. And in their mind, they had failed. And they were not focused on the test. Hear me, I promise you, this is going to be good. And I'm about to wrap it up and end this now. But hear this. The next thing that I was afraid of, I was afraid because I could not remember what he was teaching. I could not remember what she was teaching. In verses 19 of Mark chapter 8, he says this. I'm going to go back. Verses 18. He says, having eyes see ye not, having ears hear ye not, do ye not remember? When I have break the 5 loaves among the 5,000, hear me, how many baskets full of fragments take ye up? And they said unto him, 12. And when the 7 among 4,000, how many baskets full of fragments take ye up? And they said 7. And he said unto them, how is it that you do not understand? Hear me this. Sometimes we have failed our test because we are afraid that we're going to fail again. And sometimes it's because we were not paying attention to the teacher. We allowed our situation, we allowed our environment, people around us, we allowed other voices, because understand this, during class, there were other teachers. During my class, there were other teachers in the room that were trying to teach me something that had nothing to do with what was on the board. What the teacher was specifically trying to teach me. And because I paid attention to the environment, because I paid attention to my history, hear me, because I paid attention to everything else except the teacher, when it was time to take my test, I could not pass it. So what I'm saying to you, and what God is saying to all of us, is again, focus on the teacher. Who is our teacher? Jesus. Who is our teacher? The Holy Ghost. Who is our teacher? This is vitally important for us to all understand, because when you recognize who the teacher is, then it's easy to recognize what the teacher is teaching us, so that the results in our life can be success. Thank you all for coming on. Please make sure that if you have not already, please make sure that you share this and make sure that you are following me, because I want to make sure that we continue on this journey right here on Focus on Greatness podcast. I love you all, and I'll see you next time right here. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.